The halls of CBS News are suddenly mysteriously quiet. Veteran anchors are nervously checking their phones obsessively. Producers are updating their resumes behind closed doors. And the biggest names in broadcast journalism, people who've never worried about job security in their lives, are now wondering if they'll survive the week. What's causing this unprecedented panic at what was once one of America's most prestigious news institutions? Well, it's not a scandal. It's not a lawsuit. It's something far more terrifying to the old guard: accountability. And the 41-year-old woman leading the anti-woke purge just fired the opening shot that's about to change legacy media forever. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to help you make sense of the madness as the far left desperately tries to stop the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age that you're making happen all over the world. So if you want a front row seat on how you're changing the world in ways you never even imagined, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. The ultra-leftist John Dickerson, the 16-year CBS veteran, co-anchor of CBS Evening News, former DEFIES the Nation moderator, as Rush Limbaugh used to say, who literally had to hold back tears on Stephen Colbert talking about Trump's massive win in November. Well, he just announced he's gone. He's leaving. He done. But here's what the panic press won't tell you. He didn't resign. Multiple sources confirmed Dickerson was pushed out by the brand new CBS News editor-in-chief, Bari Weiss, as part of her sweeping anti-woke restructuring that has the entire network in panic mode. Now, Dickerson became the first major casualty in what insiders are calling a war zone inside CBS News since Bari Weiss took control following Paramount Skydance's acquisition of her platform, the Free Press, for a pretty impressive $150 million. Now, if you don't know, Bari Weiss isn't your typical media executive. She left the New York Times back in 2020 after exposing the paper's radical ideological uniformity and intellectual dishonesty in a resignation letter that went viral. She then, in turn, built the Free Press into a subscription-based alternative that proved that Americans were starving for balanced, intellectually honest journalism untethered from corporate media wokeness. Now she's been handed the keys to CBS News with a mandate from CEO David Ellison to restore balance to a network that had drifted so far to the left they had to settle a $16 million lawsuit with President Trump over that deceptively edited interview with Kamala Harris on 60 Minutes just weeks before the election, right, where she botched her answer on the war between Israel and Hamas. And 60 Minutes editors, they were so shocked by the train wreck that they saw in front of them, they actually had the goal to change her answer. They replaced her answer, the one that she actually gave, with one that was more, well, at least one that was borderline coherent. So Bari Weiss wasted no time. Within weeks of her appointment, her first target was none other than 60 Minutes, the crown jewel of CBS. She immediately targeted for a complete overhaul. Sources inside the network revealed that Scott Pelley, the 68-year-old correspondent who publicly blasted CBS management on air this summer for settling with Trump, he is at the top of her list. Pelley's on-air tantrum questioning whether CBS could hold power to account after paying it millions. Apparently, that didn't sit well with new management that actually believes in journalistic integrity over partisan resistance theater. So he may be on his way out. Apparently, he's the number one target. Bill Whitaker, who conducted that disastrous Kamala Harris interview that spawned the lawsuit, he's also reportedly in the crosshairs. But the carnage extends far beyond 60 Minutes. Gayle King, Oprah's best friend and CBS Morning co-host, pulling down, I believe she's getting $13 to $15 million annually. She's reportedly on the chopping block as the show languishes in dead last place with ratings below 1.8 million viewers, the lowest since its reboot back in 2021. King's astronomical salary became indefensible when the show she anchors just consistently gets demolished by ABC and NBC, and both of which aren't doing too well themselves. But, I mean, you're coming in third behind these two losers, and you're getting paid millions of dollars to boot with no return on the investment. Her days look like they're numbered. In fact, major layoffs are expected to be announced this week as Weiss and CBS News president Tom Kibrowski conduct what amounts to be a complete audit of the network's bloated, underperforming roster. Dickerson's co-anchor Maurice Dubois is also expected to exit as Weiss evaluates the best candidates to lead a revamped, anti-woke CBS Evening News that's been stuck in third place for years. But it's what Barry Weiss uncovered among the whiter staff at CBS that's turning out to be the most shocking discovery of them all. While Trump unleashes a political reckoning, there is another crisis poisoning every American in some way, shape, or form, even in the comfort of our own homes. I'm talking about the microplastic epidemic. Now, you may have heard about this, but this is pretty shocking stuff. Check this out.
White ones, we've got clear ones.
Tons of microplastics wash ashore all over the world every day. And now for the first time, scientists in the Netherlands have detected microplastic pollution in human blood.
All the microplastics and nanoplastics we are exposed to, we inhale and we ingest, that actually, there's so much plastic that it can even enter our bloodstream.
The Dutch study on blood samples from healthy adults detected tiny plastic particles in 80% of people.
That's right. There's a microplastic crisis poisoning every American in some way, shape, or form. They're in our food, our water, our meats, our proteins. In fact, according to a recent study, we now ingest 6 times more microplastics than in 1990. It's wreaking havoc on our health and on our organ functions, and unfortunately, no one is immune from this. But there is an amazing solution. There's a unique bacterial strain found only in kimchi that's been found to effectively degrade microplastics. In fact, traditional kimchi is one of the world's most powerful superfoods. But let's be honest, it's messy, it's strong smelling, and not exactly easy to eat every single day. So that's why our good friends over at Brightcore created Kimchi One. Now you can get all the benefits of premium fermented kimchi in convenient capsule form. No mess, no taste, no hassle. I've been taking Kimchi One every single day for months now, and gang, I love it. Each capsule delivers over 900 probiotic strains, live enzymes, and antioxidants that help restore balance in your gut. People are seeing improvements in digestion, bloating, regularity, energy, metabolism. Studies show that kimchi even reduces the risk of obesity. Kimchi One is all natural, non-GMO, and 100% made right here in the USA. It's completely dairy-free, gluten-free, soy-free, so just anyone can take it. I personally love it, and I love knowing that I'm supporting my gut and overall health in one simple step. So if you've been looking for a way to boost your immune system and remove microplastic toxins from your body, this is it. You can get 25% off your order by going to the link below, or for an even better deal, give them a call. My friends at Brightcore would love to chat with you, and they're going to give you 50% off plus free shipping. Call them at 888-597-0233. The first 100 callers to order are going to get a free bottle of vitamin D3. Again, you only get that 50% off and free shipping when you give them a call. So once again, that number is 888-597-0233. The Writers Guild of America East, the union representing CBS News writers, issued warnings to all of their members not to cooperate with Barry Weiss's inquiries without guarantees against retaliation. Now, what that means is that Weiss has been asking employees about their work schedules and activities, likely as part of her audit to figure out, who's productive and who's not. And the union explicitly told their members to refuse to answer unless CBS promised they wouldn't be fired or punished for what they revealed. So CBS is having to formally promise no repercussions to get people to cooperate. And what this amounts to, it's just a stunning admission that union members fear Barry Weiss. So the union is actually trying to protect their members from what they perceive as a threatening new boss who might use the information that she gathers against them. And it just further underscores how toxic and anxious the atmosphere has become for the old guard employees. They're so worried about Weiss's restructuring that they won't even answer basic questions about their job duties without legal protection. I mean, it just shows they know many of them are likely overpaid, underperforming, or doing work that doesn't justify their positions. And I find all of this just so fascinating because it demonstrates that woke, privileged, bourgeois, cosmopolitan liberals are a business model nightmare. Their sense of entitlement, their sense of privilege, prerogative, actually makes them professionally very lazy. And again, I think we saw that with the Kamala Harris interview, working in both directions. Her sense of entitlement, by virtue of all the boxes she checks off on the identity politics list, made her incredibly and imbecilically lazy. And CBS's lame attempts at trying to sanitize that interview, I mean, that exemplified a newsroom that just, they're frankly bad at what they do. And that inexorable consequence of wokeness, that debilitating dynamic inherent in privilege and prerogative, is precisely what Barry Weiss has been tasked with trying to purge from CBS. It's not, and the key here is it's not just ideological, it's radically practical. It has extraordinary professional repercussions. Wokeness is not just intellectually absurd, it's economically untenable. What's happening at CBS represents a seismic shift in American media. For decades, legacy networks operated as ideological monopolies, right? Hiring exclusively from the same progressive journalism schools, promoting identical worldviews, and systematically purging anyone who questioned the narrative. Now, they called that, ironically, objectivity. That's what they called it. All the while covering up Biden's cognitive decline, burying the Hunter Biden laptop, promoting Russian collusion hoaxes, and editing interviews to favor Democratic candidates. Weiss is systematically dismantling that infrastructure. Her vision involves returning 60 Minutes to hard-hitting investigative journalism. That's what put it on the map, instead of the soft entertainment pieces of woke celebrity book promotions and the like. She's reportedly reaching out to Catherine Herridge, the former CBS investigative correspondent who clashed with her network leadership over coverage of Hunter Biden's laptop, exactly the kind of journalists the old regime exiled for refusing to kill inconvenient stories. And word on the street is that she's trying to poach CNN's Scott Jennings. That's right. One of the few conservatives on CNN who consistently dismantles progressive narratives with facts and logic, which signals that Barry Weiss grasps the balance requires actual ideological diversity, not just slightly less liberal Democrats. But the bigger picture here is that what's happening at CBS really is a microcosm of America's broader realignment. For years, institutional gatekeepers and media, academia, corporate America enforced rigid ideological conformity through hiring, promotion, and social pressure. Anyone who questioned the prevailing narratives faced professional destruction. But the gatekeepers overplayed their hand. They covered up a president's cognitive decline so egregiously that even Democrats couldn't deny it after the June debate. They edited interviews to help their preferred candidate while claiming objectivity. They dismissed legitimate stories as, quote, misinformation, only to be proven wrong months later. They called half the country fascists and deplorables while demanding that their expertise be respected. I mean, Americans responded by tuning them out in mass. The legacy media across the board has hemorrhaged audience, rightfully so, with Gallup showing them at their lowest trust and approval ever. Their business model, rooted in trust and reliability, collapsed. And now mavericks like Barry Weiss are being tapped to rebuild the legacy media into what it should be, an enterprise for truth and investigation. Now, if Weiss succeeds, she'll prove that Americans still want quality journalism when it's offered honestly. If she fails, CBS News will continue its death spiral into irrelevance, hemorrhaging audiences and talent until it goes the way of the dodo bird. And eventually, the entire legacy broadcast news model will collapse under the weight of its own dishonest, driven irrelevance.